Hello. Just coming in to do a quick live. Don't want to interfere in the Oilers hockey game too much. So just coming in to do a quick live before the Oilers start playing. Just making sure that I am on because I'm not seeing no. Oh, here we go. And as always, I am on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, broadcasting in both. And yeah, so I just want to do a check in, talk a little bit about the new book. Hello, Lorene. So I am on YouTube. So just taking a moment here and just waiting for people. See if there's people. See if there's people coming in. It doesn't look like what I'm making sure of is that I'm actually on Facebook because I'm not seeing it pop up. So if there's anyone on Facebook who can comment and let me know if I'm actually there. I was having all kinds of issues yesterday. So yeah. So I did a live late last night when I was sitting in bed, and I had done one earlier in the day, but when I did the live and I went to share it, it disappeared. It didn't show up on Facebook. So I redid another video, and so you've probably seen today and throughout and on the video is that my new book came out. And so there is a new book that I have just got recently published, and it is on Amazon. So that is also now available. I don't know why, but my Facebook page is being very weird. There's lots of weird stuff going on with my Facebook page. Oh, thank you, Stacy. So, okay, I am on Facebook. Thank you. So, this is the new book. It's called Wine and Chips. And yeah, so myself and Lisa, we are so proud of this book. And we published this. We start publishing this a few weeks ago, and our heart and soul has gone into this book. And I want to give a big shout out. And I know she hates when I do this, but I want to give a big shout out to the editor of the book and the architect designer. I always say, because Lisa don't just edit, she puts the books together. So then all the little pieces that go into the book is all done by Lisa. So she adds in all these little details. And then the artist is her daughter, Amelia Richard. And I had a vision of this cover, and the cover came to me in a vision, and I just sketched it down. I sent it to Amelia, and she pretty much took the whole vision and turned it almost identical to what I seen. So it takes a team to make a book go together and to make it go together. And yes, I actually write my own. I don't use ghostwriters. I always say it's like abstract art. I write from a place of just letting it all kind of be more channeled and more organic. And so it's a very organic type of writing. And it's basically sharing stories, sharing experiences. But this book is very different from this book and this book. These books are very much about my personal journey, and this one has personal things, but it's as if I'm sitting down having a conversation with the shadow, with the imagination, and with a grape named Rose. And it kind of just shows how deep and how deep our conversations are with our thoughts, and not always the healthiest of thoughts, not always the truth, but how our thoughts can just take us to places and lead us to places that are not really our truth. And it doesn't always reflect who we are. It just reflects that there's always a lot of chatter in our minds. We can, like I said, we can turn friends into enemies really quickly. We can create stories in our mind. We can create our own enemy within ourselves. We can become our own worst enemy by our thoughts alone. And our thoughts alone have such power, especially when it becomes words. And so this book speaks of that journey and what that journey is like, and how when we start to allow ourselves to connect to our feelings and not be disconnected, it's just so, it can be a bit of a wild ride. So this book is written, and Lisa and I both agree with this. This book is like written. It's like a little bit of a wild ride. It's a little bit of a wild ride, but it's actually I'm actually very proud of this, and I've had to run through a lot of emotions in creating these books and putting it out there, and really almost being apologetic that I'm not a professional writer, but yet I have written 7 books in the past few years and working on several others that I write, and I just can't stop writing. It's like the universe will not let me stop writing. And we can be so apologetic to all of that stuff. Um, and yeah, and so I'm excited. I hope it becomes a bit of a conversation piece, because it's very much just perspectives and objectives, and listening to Rose the grape, having this conversation and taking the journey with Rose the grape. So thank you, Carol. And thank you, Patsy. And so yeah, that's the books, and I did make a short video about it last night as I was sitting up in bed, and I just recently finished work for the day and thought I would step in and talk a little bit more. I just got to answer Lisa. Yeah. So that's what we have happening. That's what we have going on. I am gonna step into the cards a little bit here. Um, I will step into the cards a little bit as well and speak a little bit about the cards, and I'll come back to the book as well. Um, but I want to talk about the energy, because there is a lot of intense energy, and there's a lot of conversation of how this moon has, this new moon has been so great. Yesterday wasn't. It's a really split. So there was a real split in this energy from yesterday to today. I have no idea why my phone. Um, And so there was, like, yesterday was a very intense kind of energy to the moon. Today has the moon's energy, the Taurus energy of the moon. So there is a difference in energy today. You can feel the difference. And like the sun came out today. Yesterday was like a storm, wind, everything. It was so crazy here. But today it's actually turned out to be a nice day. It was a little bit concerning in the morning, but it's turned out to be nice. And that's kind of what the energy is like. It's getting a little nicer. Now, on a collective, on a world scale, it's not really that nice, and there is a lot of intensity, and that intensity is going to follow us through all the way in 2024. It's like we're at endings, and this just kind of like everything falling away but coming back in. But this energy brings us into really great energy of manifesting. So this is why I would say be very careful of your thoughts, and your thoughts, even if you're just speaking them to yourself, is that of watching what we're manifesting. But life is also revealing things to us right now. It may be slowing us down. So the energy is, some people are being, and I think it's in my May message more than it's in the new moon. I said some people are going in through this transition period, so they're going into what I call like the black hole, where the stars just get lost into the black hole. Well, that kind of energy. So it's just like some people are being prepared that they're going in through that journey of transformation, that dark night of the soul journey, or the big healing journey, and others are on their way out. And some of us are just coming out and through that journey, but some are also going in. And so there's an in and out. So it's like there's many different experiences all happening at once. We have a lot of things that's taking place. We have a lot of things that's happening right now. And so as I see this energy and I connect to this energy, I love to be able to just share, because often people have no idea what's affecting them. They're like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I have this happening? Why do I have these thoughts? And they think it's like something like, I didn't do nothing. I didn't change nothing. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. I feel this anxiety, or this anxious energy. And it's energy. It literally is energy. It is what's happening in the universe. It's what's happening outside of ourselves. And it's amazing. The more that you start to kind of be more connected to yourself, the more you feel it. The more that you're just like living in the human aspect of the 3D living, like just feet on the ground, living on earth, nothing wrong with either or. But if that's the way people are living, then they're probably not noticing it the same way. or they're just thinking it's just their everyday life. Um, but the more you become awake and aware to this in yourself, the more that you start to become more sensitive, the more that you feel this energy. But people don't use discernment, and they don't really, ask themselves the right questions. And they just say, "What's wrong with me?" And it's not that there's something wrong. And so saying that over and over, "What's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me." No, there's nothing wrong with you. You're going through a transition. You're going through a change. There's something right. There's something tweaking, turning, awakening us, making us aware. Really being aware of that language and that conversations that you have with yourself is important. Hello, Liz. Thank you. And Kevin, hello. Hello. So nice to see everyone here stopping in on my freaky funky Facebook page. My YouTube is okay, but my Facebook page, my posts are literally like, and I have a good number of I hate using the word followers, but friends on Facebook. I have a great number of friends on Facebook, but for some reason, people are not getting the notifications. My videos are not going and my posts are being seen by like, I don't know, 15, 20 people sometimes. And it's just so wonky and crazy right now. But the whole world is wonky and crazy. But it is what it is. And it's something that I have fully let go of because obviously my work is still getting out there because I'm still quite busy. So it's not decided by Facebook. So let's pull a card and talk about this. So we got the universal light of love, Lumarian. So Lumarian is in her full embodiment of raw energy, rawness, becoming naked. And so what it means to become naked and vulnerable is to kind of like that nakedness is to empty out all that, all the stories, all that we hold on to, all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, all the shame stories, all the guilting ourselves that we do, and just letting it be released and allowing ourselves to not get lost in the emotions, not to to drown in the emotions, but to float above them, to judge them, to question like, what is this feeling, and not to be always activating and running to that same sense of, if it's sad and or if it's like I always feel bad, whatever that may be, but to rise above that. And this is to get into our divine emotions, to get into our enlightened emotions, to get into um our higher sense of self. So this is where the growth of it's emotional intelligence. So it's where we grow and heal and we level up, we grow up emotionally and spiritually. And how do we do that is by really truly stepping deeper into love, stepping deeper into a sense of kindness and compassion, and we start to care. And so, really beginning to care about that self, caring about your environment, caring about the people that are around you, caring about how you speak to yourself, caring about, um, caring about the, um, what was I just going to say? Caring about, really begin to care about what you read, what you watch, what you connect to, and all of those things. And so that we're not allowing ourselves to become overloaded, overstimulated, filled up, things that, if we keep watching enough things that'll make us feel bad about ourselves, that'll make us feel like we're horrible human beings, we'll start to believe we're horrible human beings, and we'll start to respond from almost living apologetic, trying to make up for something, that we think we did wrong because we've watched enough of where somebody else is telling us we've done wrong, but we're not trusting ourselves to know that I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I didn't participate in that. I'm not creating that. I'm not going to be shamed for that. And I'm not going to be shamed into losing myself into that. I'm going to really, truly learn. I'm truly going to step into knowing that I can trust me and that who I am is, good enough. If there's areas we need to tweak, we'll discover them. We'll find those out. But that's where this sense of leveling up really truly implements us and affects us, is because if we keep going into what we think we should be, and who we think we should be, we get farther away from our own truth. We get farther away from who we really are and what really aligns to us. And if somebody else is always telling us who we are, what we should think, how we should be, that's a toxic environment. And when I create it more than existing, it's all I've said, it's so that you learn to think for yourself, so that you can remember that we have that power, that who's thinking this for me? Where's this thought coming from? But to be confident in your own thought, and you're confident in really truly knowing that you can explore and look deeper into your values and your beliefs and ask if they align to you. Where did I get that belief? Where did that come from? And this is what, so this is a total leveling up card. It's actually the second last card in the deck. And of course it's Lumerian. And I do have many stories of me meeting, I call her my Lumerian chief. That's what I call her. My Lumerian chief, who appeared and spoke to me. And for some reason, she always liked to come when I was in the bathtub, but she was a golden light, and she appeared in a golden light, and she was Lumerian, and she was from Atlantis, is what she would tell me. And so she was, and I channeled her for a long period of time. And she really truly spoke about confidence and what it meant to have spiritual confidence, divine confidence, not to be really swayed away or convinced into thinking that we had to create the absolute perfect world. We had to really truly exist in an imperfect world. And that if we could become very bored if we all were alike, and if everything was all alike, and we would, that would not be, that would not stimulate us to grow and to evolve. And that a huge part of us is that we are here to be stimulated. We're here to be activated. We're here to feel the world. We're here to feel our feelings. We're not here to be numbed. We're not here to avoid it. We're not here to try to push everything away so that it makes everything so comfortable, because we will not be stimulated. And there has to be this sense of being stimulated by the world, something that inspires us, something that encourages us, something that gives us confidence, a knowing, it ignites our passion. And so that we can exist in our purpose. And our purpose is what we live in. It is what we are. It is a part of us. It just simply is. And it has a purity to it. And it's just such a piece of us in such a way that it really helps us to be able to grow and develop and strengthen ourselves, um, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, so that we can begin to really truly regulate that self. And when we start to regulate the self, this is where this card is, that we make peace, and we're able to relax into our lives. And when we can begin to relax into our lives, we begin to discover our joy and our happiness. And our joy and our happiness does exist. And joy is something inside of us. Joy is something that ignites from within us. That's where joy is. So yeah, that's our first card. Let's see what else they have for us. One second. I don't know what's going on. Frida, stargazer. So we're in the waters. So we're in the element of water in the last card. Now we're in the element of air. You are so welcome, Adriana. And thank you, Ellie. And Leanne, hello. And so now we're moving. So we were just in the water, elements of water. Now we're moving into the elements of air. And as we're moving into the elements of air, we're going all the way back to a maiden card. So back to the beginning. And so this is 4, and this is Frida, and she is the stargazer. And as we see here, we have the whales. The whales really hold the secrets and the secret keys and the codes and all that is. And it's, the divine could not give all of that power and all of those secrets and all of that into the human, because the human has ego. And because it has free will, given that much power, we probably wouldn't know what to do with it. So it's believed that the whales hold all of this information, and they are the sacred record keepers. And the whales are in the sky, they're in astrology, or yeah, in the astrological, they're in the stars. So the whales are in the stars. So we have this star energy, we have this sense of a self and a self-awareness that is more than our mind's ability to think, more than our imagination. We have this point within us. We have this light. We have this um, God eye. We have this third eye. We have this pineal gland. So we have this crystalline energy, and it is this powerful light that exists, and it's our third eye. And so this is the area that when we activate it and we let ourselves see through there, and we see back and we see beyond, and we begin to see beyond, we can see that we hold all possibilities in our hands. We hold the sense of all of this beautiful love and light, and we have everything that we need to grow, and we have everything that we need to be on top of the world, to be joyful, to be happy. We have it all. It all exists in us. Our experiences, and what dictates the change for that is the experiences that we step into, or what, because of other people's choices, we are impacted and affected by other people's choices. And so other people's choices and their decisions that impact their fates have an effect upon our experiences. So we're always stepping into all of these experiences, and life has all of these experiences. And we're here for the experience. We're here so that the soul self can really grow and evolve. That's why we're here. We're here to amplify and grow this part, the soul. And we're here for the experience. And if we live afraid of experiencing life, and just, or waiting for the perfect experience, or afraid to live, then we basically deny ourselves the opportunity to expand our light, to grow, to really truly follow through on our mission here on earth. Basically, it's like we miss out on so much that has the potential to always be bringing something new and beautiful into our lives. Because even if we've been through our absolute hell, there's an opportunity we can also enter back into our heavens, right? There's an opportunity for us to have another great experience. If we go through something that's very traumatic, yes, we're always going to have that. But there's also an opportunity for us to go through something that enlightens us, that encourages us, that makes us feel alive again. And if we keep only living in that one experience that denied us of that, then we may be missing such a beautiful experience that just kind of brings us to our knees. And have you ever had one of those beautiful experiences that just, like, your jaw drops? It's just jaw dropping. It's just in awe. And when you have one of those awe experiences, you want more of those, but you can't create them. You can't force them to happen. You can't make them happen. You can rearrange things, you can decorate things, you can be excited about things. But those moments that just drop you to your knees in absolute awe and wonder, those just simply appear. And they appear in our lives, and they appear in our world. And when they do, they are transformative. They transform us and change us. I believe even more, as much as the not great experiences changes us, those moments are waiting for us to walk into life. And sometimes we have to really step up and step into life, and walk into life, and walk into life in such a big way that we stop looking around to see who's looking, stop looking around to see who's going to be bothered by us, or if we're making everyone else comfortable. And we just have to choose to walk, and choose to walk our path and our direction, and be in that light, and be in that truth, and almost like have fun with it. That's what it feels like. Just have fun with it. So that's what they're giving for me. That's what they're giving. That's what they're giving to me for you, in those two cards. And so I'm going to move into the spirit card. So the first one would be our human body. Second one would be moving into the mind. This one is moving us into spirit. So as we move into spirit card, notice all the light in my room. And all these little orby things going around us because there's nothing moving in my room, but there is stuff floating around in here. And I'm going back to my office next week. Finally going to get back to my office. And we got the performer, Sasha, and she's totally spirit, right? She is in the beginning. She's a 3, mind, body, soul connection. And then what amplifies the mind, body, soul connection is when we allow the divine in, when we find that spark of the divine. And when we find that spark, or when we realize that we have that piece of the divine that exists within us, and that we have the possibility to exist in that sense of that highest of self, the higher self, and we can start to rise up into that, is that we're no longer acting, we're not wearing masks, we're playing out the roles, we're accepting. And this card really is the performer, and it's Sasha, and it's about accepting that we came here to be this beautiful person. We came here for this life, and start to accept that that divine inside of me, that's pure love, that's pure light. And I should be excited about my successes. I should be excited about the possibilities that I really could feel very alive. We're here to really come to life. And there's something that's really opening us up and expanding us and bringing us to that place in such a beautiful way. I can feel it. I know it's here. I can feel the divine. I can feel the angels. I can feel them all. And they're so surrounding us. And it's so beautiful and so powerful. And like I said, yesterday was like we walked into the shades of the darkness, and today we're walking into the light. And so and it's really truly that new moon energy. It's like we have this side of it and we have that side of it. And it's showing us the shadow and pulling out and extracting the light. And what I write in my book is, that moment of when you just start to realize that you integrate the greatest qualities of the shadow, because the shadow part of ourselves, that shadow work that we do, is so that we can stop hiding the best parts of ourselves, the parts of us that we had to protect because it's a problem, the parts of ourselves we couldn't be because it's not perfect, or it's not professional enough, or you didn't study that, or you don't have, you didn't learn how to be that, you didn't perfect it, so how can you be that? And moving beyond all of that and just saying, I'm just going to live on purpose, and I'm going to exist in this light, and I'm going to be this light, and I'm going to be this truth for myself. Because the more that we step into that energy, the more alive we actually become. And that's the shift. And it's a big shift. And it's beginning to bring forth some big changes for us, and bringing forth some big energies for us. And I'm excited for what's to come. I'm excited, even though I know on a world scale we're not there yet. But it's not that the world gets there; is we start to get there within ourselves. And when we spark that, when we come home to that divine, and we sit with that divine, and we feel that divine, and we're able to, sit at the seat of our own soul, and sit at the right hand of the divine, and just let it communicate, let it speak to us in such a way that it moves us. Let ourselves be moved by the magic. Let ourselves be moved by the magic of this life, of this world. You can't even see me anymore. I'm lost in the light. I'm lost in the light. And so letting ourselves be so embodied, so filled with that. And that was the Lumerian. That all started with our beautiful Lumerian, who brought in the, rising above in our, in our enlightened emotions, in our higher degree of 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 emotions, and just rising above into that place. I know I'm disappeared. Good thing I'm going to be ending right away. I'm shining red. I know there's all kinds of colors in here. This always just blows my mind how much this happens sometimes. So back to the book, as I'm going to leave you, because I know if you're in Alberta, you're probably watching it. Well, you could be anywhere watching the Oilers. And so this is Wine and Chips. This is my new book. This is a story about the grape who knew she could. It's about Rose. And it's also about Chip. See the little Chip up there? So Chip don't get as much of the page because Chip is kind of the imitation light. And it speaks about the imitation. And it's so easy to take something so pure like a grape and turn it into wine and convince ourselves that that's way better for us than a grape. Oh, you're so welcome, Linda. I'm glad that resonates with you. And Chip, a beautiful potato, comes from the ground in its organic form. And it's in that organic form. And you take that organic form and then you turn it into something that is imitation, salt it up, deep fry it, and turn it into a chip, and we become so then craving the chip, but yet we don't crave the potato, and we even tell ourselves the potato's bad for us, but yet we'll still eat a bag of chips. Oh, I don't eat potatoes, but I eat a chip. We just have so many narratives and so many stories that we hold through that we don't even realize how ridiculous our own stories are. And so this kind of is a bit of a humor to how ridiculous our own stories are and how we get so caught up in our own narratives and our own stories. So there's a lot of emotion in here, but it is the evolution through the emotion, and it's the evolution of growth. So from beginning to end, you're not reading the same, it's not a follow through. It all breaks up and it all keeps moving us forward. So there's a forward movement that happens in this book. And there's even some stuff to look at, just so you know. So some of my Paint Me Beautiful works are in here because this is how I work through my rose. And we all have a rose, whether we're male, female, we all have a version of rose. We all have an essence of a shadow self, right? We all have little monsters in us. We all have little angers. We all have anger in us that has accumulated and built up, and we don't release it because we don't speak how it really makes us feel. And when we finally speak how it makes us feel, then we're almost apologetic because we say what we're really feeling. And it's not saying it's everyone's truth, it's our truth. And when we can release it, we can surrender it. When we can finally release that and surrender it, then we can begin to move on. And so, yeah, the book is so full, and I love potatoes, chips, grapes, but no wine for me. Perfect. Oh, there goes our color. You can see me again. Right. And I'm like, and so there are stages where, where I absolutely didn't even like wine. And now I take it or leave it. Not really I can take it or leave it. I can have a glass, but I don't really care. And so then there's also this version of Rose that's also in the book. And this version of Rose goes with a whole painting of wine and chips. And all of this was was that sense of being able to see yourself and be your own critic, right? And so when you recognize that you are your own worst critic, you are the one who judges you the most, you are the hardest on yourself. You're also the one who creates those narratives and those stories. We do that to ourselves. And yeah, and I know there's times when I've literally been, eating those crumbs of those potato chips out of the bag. It's that addictive. We can be very addictive to. We can have some really addictive habits within ourselves. And what I wrote in the very beginning of the book, and this is what I wrote down when I first started. We are the nectar and rich flavor. We are the root of our ancestors, blended in diversity, love, and mixed with many lies and half-hearted truths. We have all had a hand at trying to master the perfect blend, but here we are, still imperfectly perfect. We are the fine wine. And so, yeah, this is kind of a continuation of the stories of the healing journey and what it's like to really look at ourselves and how we can be so associated and so disassociated, and about shadow work and about really how deep the shadow work comes and how we spend more time sitting with those thoughts and having conversations with those thoughts and listening to them. And we don't realize how deep and big those conversations are and how we actually respond from those conversations. So I look forward to hearing about this. And as I said this is like abstract art. It's so if you are my professional readers, it's not going to be perfectly in place. All of these books are channeled in a way to, that you're like, oh, if you're judgy, if you find yourself being judgmental, is really reflecting back, why am I so judgmental? Why can I not just let myself go? Why can't I let go of the restrictions? Why can't I just let go of the way I think things should be and just allow myself to step into and embody? Because it becomes a reflection for ourselves. So this is More Than Existing. First book, My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection. Second book. And the third book, Wine and Chips. And from beginning to end, myself and Lisa Richard have worked our butts off, and I wasn't a writer, she wasn't an editor. That was always her ongoing joke. But yet, here we are, all of these, and of course, the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards. So, all of this is available. You can go to the website. These are not available. All the books are available on Amazon. These are not available on Amazon. These are only available on my website. And these are really meant for you to really be able to sit with yourself, get your journal, pull yourself a card for the day. And they are inspiration and attitude, and they're from shadow to truth. In all of my designs, human design, gene keys, natal chart, I'm all about honesty. I'm an all about honesty kind of girl. That's in every design that I have. I can't help myself. So it's, being true, being honest to yourself is not always easy. Reflecting and looking into yourself is not always easy. So there's a lot of organicness to this, and I hope it helps you to be able to let yourself be able to see that we can heal and not take ourselves so serious, and also to enjoy the journey along the way. That's what I have for you. I send you so much love. Thank you all for being here, and I hope you enjoyed the light show. Have a beautiful night, and I will speak with you soon again. Much love.